Good afternoon. We're the Blue Digital Experience. Actually, it's also a product. The Blue Digital Experience for us is specifically for ports. For example, the port of Ostend. It's one of the partners we're working with. We want to create a Blue Digital simulation experience. What do we want to tackle with that? The challenge is that there are actually not a lot of simulation services, digital simulation services available for ports and even other different companies or different aspects, and that's what we want to tackle. So what do we want to do with this service? What is the goal of giving this service to the Port of Ostend, for example? We want to be able to let them create the best port that they can be by simulating various, change variables to create the best and most efficient and green efficient ports that could be made. And how do we differentiate us is by visualizing it. And that's very funny because it's simple, but we see that not a lot of people do it. Actually, I didn't find any that do it like we want to do. So the idea is that we want to be able to create a scaled model, a one-on-one model of the port, and create, change different variables. So if you add a extra cargo or a windmill or so forth, we want to see what is the impact of that item that you add. What is the impact, and not only by numbers, but also visual, because there could be other implications by adding the windmill on a certain place in a certain day on a certain time. So that's what we want to do with the product. And what is the viability of our product? So, as I said, we're already backed by the city of Ostend, and we are backed by an incubator. Several businesses already have shown interest in what we want, and we've actually got a gold ticket to a competition, European competition, to go further with our project. So, what is our project? As it said, it's a simulator, so port simulator specifically for ports, and we want to tackle 4 different aspects of it. We want you to be able to build and expand your port. So if you have your port as is, what can you do with it? How can you expand it? What are the implications of expanding it? What are the implications on the planet, on the people, on the port itself, and so forth. We also want you to be able to keep it green. So, as I said, if you add a windmill, it is good for your greenification, but maybe it's not as efficient as it needs to be. If you place it a meter more up or down or left, right, it could be more efficient. So by using simulation, you can get the best value out of your windmills and all the other aspects of a port. And then attract. A port is not only it's not only for businesses, it could also be an attraction. I say it as an attraction, but as it is now, most of the ports are industrial, and people are mostly keeping away from it because it's not pretty to look at or fun to be in. And by using this simulation, you can provide different ways to make it more attractive, make it coherent with the city it is in. And then at last one is learning. So we know technology advances very fast. Every day something new comes up, and we want you to be able to implement those new things and see what those new things do to your port as it is, and create the most green port that you can, of course. So our simulation as it is now, we have 4 different building blocks at the moment. First one is power, so you can start with general basic power consumption like coal, for instance. Not that it is very green, but it's an example. And then progress to windmills, solar panels, and so forth, and see the progress and see how it impacts your port and the rest of the world. Then the docks. So as I said, it's a simulation. You're able to simulate what the cargo, what the ships, what the people, how the import and export works of all your products in the port. And that's why we say docks, as it is the first contact to the ground of your goods. And then transport, managing the transport, the ships, the routing of the ships. How can you make the routing as efficient as possible, as fast as possible, without much costs? And then the last one, innovation. As I said in the previous slides, innovation is very important for everyone, for the people, the planet. How can we make everything as good and as economical and as financially interesting for everyone, and implement that in the port, for example. Well, on this hackathon we created a small demo. The idea was to create a small demo to see if it actually could work. I know 3 days is few for 2 developers, so it's very basic, and I think I can play this. So here the example is just you have a menu and you can create a car, a dock, excuse me, and at that moment a ship will go to it, release its goods, and return back outside, leave the port again. As you can see, a boat just arrived and it left again, simulating, very basically at the moment, simulating dropping its cargo and going back outside of the port. It's a very early demo, but we see a lot of potential with this, and using a lot of data that already exists and inserting it into this is could be very beneficial and easy and cost efficient, because you don't have to already create it. If you can simulate it, you don't have to try it out and see, oh, it fails or it succeeded, and at this, so you can save money at the end. Yeah, that's it. Last slide. Yeah. So thank you for your attention. My name is Jill, that's William from the Trust Fund team, but we are backed by Crescent and a lot of other partners that are helping us create an awesome product.